Southern California with John Kreng. Welcome, John.
Thanks for having me, Debbie. Appreciate it.
Well, this is interesting because we didn't realize it until recently, but we had crossed paths before. And it was many years ago at Stuart Kwan's dojo in Fresno, California. And I can tell you the exact moment that it happened and what was happening. Stuart and I were working on a program called Mind, Body, Spirit, and the kids from the Boys and Girls Club would come to his dojo on Friday afternoons at 4,
Wow.
and we would teach. Well, I had a surprise for Stuart because there was a tournament in town that weekend, and Douglas and Carrie Wong were coming with their family.
Wow.
I just didn't bother to tell Stuart I'd invited them to come and see the Mind, Body, Spirit program. Well, there were two guys in the office, and you happened to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually remember asking you because Stuart had made a video, and it's your back, but it was your ponytail that I recognized. And I came in with the box, and I said, "Is this you?" And you said, "Yeah, that's me." And pretty soon, I saw the Wongs pull up. And I said, just very casually, "Oh, Stuart, Douglas Wong is here." And I heard Stuart say, "What did she say?" Somebody said, "Sounded like she said Douglas Wong is here." About that time, they'd come through the door, and Stuart just came flying out of his office. So we met before, and I don't even remember how we re-met recently. Do you?
Could have been, it probably was Melissa and I, we were over at Dragon Fest. I was signing my book, and
But
we
I
were
think
selling
it was
our video.
before that. Maybe were you at the museum one
Oh, yeah,
time?
yeah.
Oh, okay, it had to have
Yeah.
been at the museum.
Yeah, I also I had a screening of a movie that I was in. I choreographed, and I was one of the producers, called Battle B-Boy. We
Okay.
screened it there, and then I was at a few other events. We had a book fest. I was at the first two book fests that Michael Matsuda had. So I was signing books
That
there,
might
too.
have been
Yeah.
also, that was May of last year, was it?
He did two of them. I can't remember. It's kind of, kind of all blending. And
He's got another one coming up, I think, pretty
Yeah,
soon. Is it
yeah.
August or October?
I think it's October. I think it's
Okay.
October. I'm not sure. Yeah, I gotta look online. So yeah.
I like to come down for the events at the museum anytime that I can.
Oh, they're great events. The museum's
yeah.
always putting stuff that's really promoting martial arts. Especially, especially in California, there's a huge history of martial artists and how they've influenced the community and also the martial arts world. It's like the hub.
It is.
A lot of famous and key martial artists are from this area.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Now, what style did you start with, or have you stayed with the same style all along?
No, I started when I was 12 years old. I started, first style is in 1973. It was Taekwondo. It was the hardcore Taekwondo back then. And then what happened was my mother. I'm a product of a single parent. My father passed away when I was a year old. So my mom was always working. She was working 2-3 jobs. So she could never afford lessons. So for my birthday, she would get introductory lessons for me. So every year I'd have these introductory lessons. And as it progressed, they said, "Hey, you're too good for this. Why don't you just? I know you don't have money. Why don't you just go into the class until the owner says something, and then if he does, you gotta go." I said, "All right, fine." So that was kind of like the routine for years, and then finally. I met this one guy, Mike Kinney. He said, "Look, I need help with the kids class.
Mm-hmm.
You come here 2 hours before class, and your lessons are free." So that's how I kind of got my black belt. So yeah, I went through a lot of different styles, because I did Aikido for 3 years because the guy taught it at the YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So it was a good experience because it taught me how to see different styles and also understand that it has a core philosophy and core basics. It's all kind of similar, and growing up, I go, "God, it'd be nice if I could just have one style or one school where I could stick to and go all the way." But for me, I felt like it worked out for the better because I have this whole potpourri of styles and systems and belief systems that kind of help me, adapt and change to what I do now as a stunt coordinator and a second year director. So.
Now, how did you first get into show business? Obviously it was your martial arts that took you into it, was it not?
Well, not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I was traveling in tournament circuit and I got injured, so I had to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I was this high energy kid that just couldn't sit still. I was an art major in college, and I needed to figure something out with my life, and art was good. I learned a lot about discipline, how to transfer my martial arts skills into another discipline, but it wasn't what was doing it for me. I was, I guess you could say, I had ADD.
Yeah, I think
So
we all have
yeah.
a little bit of it. So
Yeah.
that's what my friends say about me, and I'm like, you got to be kidding. You mean not everybody's this energetic?
Yeah, so that's what I did. I just couldn't sit still, especially towards my junior towards you're about to graduate. The projects got longer, so I got very antsy. So actually, when I was talking to I was always disrupting class. So the teacher would say, you got to do something with that energy. He was really nice. God bless him. He said, you got to do something with that energy. I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, you're really funny. You're disrupting class. You got to do something with it. I said, like what? And he took out this newspaper and goes, look, there's an open mic at a club downtown in DC.
Oh my
Check it out.
gosh.
So I said, really? Okay. So I went down, tried it a couple times, and it wasn't what it was. I needed to see somebody who was at top of his game, so I could see the whole scope.
Right.
So at the time, I got transferred to Parsons School of Design in New York City.
Oh.
And first night there, Billy Crystal was recording his live album at the Bottom Line in the Greenwich Village. And he did 2.5 hours. I sat there and went, oh my God, this is amazing. I can take, yeah. I saw it and I said, I can take the energy and the skills and the performance aspect that I learned in martial arts and put it into this. It's something I could really focus and obsess on. So that's what I did. And then I finished the semester out, came back home to Maryland, saved up my money for a year, and moved out to LA.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it was stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. What happened was I tore my groin muscle, so I had to figure out something to do. And back east, holistic medicine at the time wasn't very well accepted. So I went to all these doctors and they said, you tore your groin muscle. We're going to have to go in there. We're going to cut it. We're going to fuse it together. Your right leg's going to be longer than your left. So you'll be lucky if you can touch your toes. But I mean, I used to be able to just drop into splits without warming up. I was like, Bill Wallace
Wow.
was one of my heroes, kind of did that. So, so I said, something in my mind said, don't. Just find something else to do with yourself, and then you'll revisit it. And I had to listen. It was this real drastic things that these doctors wanted to do my leg. So I said, no, it's okay.
Sometimes it's something drastic in our life that makes us take a path that maybe we might have taken, but it needed something to push
Yeah.
us into it.
Yeah, what it is you're able to speak your mind, whereas all those the other people can't. Well, I'm a businessman, I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't say this because what would they think of me? But you get to do it because this is what you're paid to do. I
Right.
get to say it because this is the forum that you came to participate in. That's one of the greatest things about it. I mean, you can say whatever. I mean, look at what George Carlin did with the what do you call it? The
7 words you can't say on
Yeah,
television.
yeah,
I can rattle them
yeah,
off, but I won't.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
some of
so-
those words you can say on television now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think about it, you go, wow. We've come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, and Richard Pryor. I mean, you look at his stuff now, you go, well, it's kind of tame, but the reason it's tame is because everybody's took what he did and. They're doing it themselves, and they're making it even bigger and bawdier than what he did. But the thing about Richard was that he was very honest and sincere about his work, about where the material was coming from, and that's what I always loved and respected about him. He's still one of my heroes to this day.
As a child, I remember my parents listening to Bill Cosby albums. And back then, Bill Cosby didn't use any sort of foul language, and it was still funny.
Yeah.
I think that he's a master storyteller.
Oh yeah. He's the modern day Mark Twain.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's so funny. One of my favorites is Revenge.
I-
Junior Barnes
Ah.
threw a slush ball at him. You know, just silly stuff like that.
Mine
But,
was Buck Buck. Yeah.
oh, yes, I
Yeah.
remember that.
You remember that? You think about it. That is probably one of the cruelest games to ever play. On, have kids play. You're like, well, it was before video games, I guess. You know, you guys didn't have that. Yeah, it was just like, what's Buck Buck? Well, you know what that is. You get one guy that stands up against a wall, and you get 3 or 4 guys that bend over and hold on to each other, and then you have a bunch of kids jump up and yell Buck Buck number one. They jump on it, and they jump on top of each other and see who holds it up the longest. This is crazy. And we did this in Cub Scouts. It was like, what were you thinking? What was her den mother thinking about? Ms. Wenga, what were you thinking about?
Play Buck Buck, kids.
Yeah,
She
yeah. It's
hated
like,
you.
well, yeah. This
She
is.
hated you.
You got. I mean, that's like workers' comp injuries coming up. You know.
I always liked the one about, hey, Fat Albert,
Oh,
old
God,
Weird Harold's getting a beating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they'd hold the monster out, and he goes, I forgot I was behind. Big Fat Albert.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would have to say the comedians that were most influential on me were Bill Cosby, Lily Tomlin,
Oh yeah.
and Steve Martin.
Oh, Steve Martin. Yeah, he's. You know, he was a philosophy major at Cal State Long Beach.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He seems like an incredibly intelligent guy.
Yeah, yeah. He took it. I mean, I have a friend of mine who has a master's degree in philosophy, and he goes, he took all the theories he learned in philosophy class and turned it into stand up. And I was like, oh my God, that. And he started showing me some of the theories, and I was like, oh my God, that's true. It's so true.
One of the funniest instructors I had, Fresno City College, many years ago, was my philosophy teacher, Mr. Angarano.
Uh-huh.
He would stand up there and dead serious say stuff and just have me splitting. Ran into him several years ago and he was still alive. I mean, because, you know, of course, when you're 18, everybody seems old, you know. So he seemed old to me then. So I was just so glad. I says, I know you. You're Mr. Angarano.
Oh, that's great. That's
Couldn't
great.
believe that I remembered him.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
these. Yeah, we have to honor our teachers that.
That influenced
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, because there are others that I hardly remember at all. But I
Yeah.
do remember him.
I've been second year directing and stunt coordinating for over 15 years now, and I'm starting to move into the producing and directing, you know. So it's just, you know, I've been asked to direct some projects I can't talk about right now, but
Sure.
you know, it's been I'm seeing that there's a certain way to present action because right now it's very gratuitous and very selfless. There's no meaning behind the action. I mean, I started out as when I first started doing stunts, my first stunt was actually fighting Jet Li in a Hong Kong film.
Wow.
So I kind of learned it had a different type of training. They showed me the reason behind the action. You know, they would show me this is what you have to do. The reason you're doing it is because you're this guy, da da da, and you have to come at him like this, or else, you know, he's going to do this to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay. I never saw it that way because when you watch action films and primarily in the West, it's very gratuitous. There's no meaning behind it. It's just like, you know, talk, 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 all of a sudden, action. And the action is no longer connected to the story. You know, it's just very gratuitous. So I also took 2 years of screenwriting classes at UCLA. So I'm trying to tell nonverbal stories with the action.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're learning, we're trying to create projects that are fusing action and messages with the story. The action is justified, and every move that they do is justified and is backed up by the story. And we're doing some instructional tutorials. We have a fight design video that's coming out September 28th, is it? 23rd, yeah, September 23rd. We're doing a webinar on September 23rd.
Mm.
Yeah, I could send you information
Absolutely.
on that. Yeah,
Please do.
And it's a 30-minute instructional on you know how to tell a story with a fight scene.
That's great.
So-
You know, I have my own personal Facebook page, but I also have my Martial Arts Mania, this TV
Okay.
show page. So anything you send me, that relates to martial arts, I repost on the Martial Arts Mania page.
Okay. Oh, great. Thanks.
And that's where
Yeah.
I'll be showing this video after it's been shown on Comcast and AT&T.
Oh, great.
So it can
Great.
go worldwide.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, and we're just. I just finished doing. I can't say the name of the movie, but it's coming out May of next year. It's a Paramount movie.
Wow.
It's. I have a character that I turn into this other thing. I can't say much
I
about
understand.
but yeah, it's coming out in May. I think May 13th is the release date.
Okay.
Can't say the name of the movie, but I did that. So
Okay.
yeah. It's a pretty big budget movie.
John, what advice would you give a martial artist that wants to get into the film industry? Because I remember many years ago, when I was at a school prior to studying with John Cho, there was one young man there that was just desperately wanted to get into show business. He had good looks, but somewhere he was missing the boat because he just never was able to break in. So what advice would you give to a young martial artist that wants to get into the show business using their martial arts?
Okay, first off, there are two things you have to ask yourself. What do you want to do? Do you want to do stunts, which is what the normal route is, or do you want to take it several steps higher, become an action actor? And what that is you're doing dialogue and you're also doing your own stunts or fights to a certain point. I'll give you an example. James Liu is one.
He's incredible.
Yeah, James Liu, he's been around forever.
He has.
Yeah, I mean, and he's lasted, for what?
40 years.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, he helped me get my SAG card when I first came out.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just, he's definitely somebody who's been at it for a while. And when you see him, you go, oh my God, him, Al Leong, Jeff Amata, those guys, they're all martial artists that came and became action actors. And then now they also work behind and in front of the camera. For a martial artist that wants to get into this business, you don't expect to work immediately.
Right.
If you're lucky, you'll find somebody who'll take you under his wing. But what you need to do is you need to do a couple things. One, you take a stunt class. So because doing action on the camera is completely different than what you do in the dojo or in a tournament circuit. It's a different application. Even though you look at it, you think to yourself, you go, well, that it looks the same. It does on the surface, but how you execute it, the emphasis behind it, and the timing and the rhythm is completely different. I recommend you take acting lessons because what you learn as a martial artist is completely counterintuitive to what you do on film. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable when you perform. Whereas in a martial arts, you are not vulnerable. You've got a tight defense. Your hand positions are a certain way. I mean, you got to cover your head. Whereas in film, you don't. You have a stance, but you got to see your face. It's all these little things that you have to unlearn in order to make it work on film. Certain things you shouldn't say on set, like, if you're hired, it's like a lot of times you're hired and a filmmaker won't know the difference between a stunt fighter and a martial artist. And you don't come onto set thinking you're a martial artist. You got hired because you're a martial artist. But when you walk on set, you're not a martial artist. You're a stunt person, or you're a stunt professional, or you're a stunt actor. And there's subtle differences. If you've never been on set, I recommend you either visit a set, or get work as an extra, so you can sit and watch how things are set up. So when you do get a chance to get hired as a fighter on film, you do not get egg on your face.
Leave your ego at the door.
Yes, yeah, that's another issue. Sometimes some people, I've had some people come up to me and say, I can do what Tony Jaa does, or I can do anything Jackie Chan does, and I kind of look at them and I go, who cares?
Yeah.
And they go, and they get kind of pissed off, and they go, well, I can do what they do, so why can't you hire me? He goes, well, why wouldn't I hire those guys and hire some cheap imitation? Kitchen front coach, he said this one thing, and I still believe in it. He says, what happens in a dojo is a microcosm of what happens in the real world. So if you think about that, it's true. I mean, because in the dojo, it's you, the instructor, and the students. There's all these different personality types that you have to learn how to deal with. Some people will push you. Some people will be on your side, or all these different personality types. And you have to learn how to deal with that. And there are times where you show up and you show up in the school and you don't want to work out, but you're obligated somehow, some way, or some reason, and one of the students or instructor gets the best of you, when they didn't even think about it. It's just, it's I guess I think a lot of martial artists, a lot of schools today, these McDojos, they don't teach that philosophy anymore.
McDojos, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't teach that philosophy anymore.
Right.
All it is you got a black belt in 2 years and it's done.
Thank you.
Get out.
That's something I've been wanting to address so much on the show. People don't get it. Many people go to these schools that teach the physical and not the mental.
It's easy. It's real easy.
Yeah. And you get these people that go out on the street and they're basically looking for a fight.
Yeah.
I was at one of those McDojos for a while, till I started reading books like by Douglas Wong, by James Liu, and I thought, you know what? They don't think this way. And look at these people. They're really successful, and this is the way they think. I need to rethink this here.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the thing is right now with the microwave technology, they want things right away.
Mm-hmm.
People want things right away.
Right.
And they don't have the patience to kind of calm things down. It took me 6 years to get my black belt, whereas now it takes people 2 years.
And you get little kids with them. It's like, really?
Yeah, and they're no longer called junior black belts. They're just black belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to be 18 to become a black belt. So
that's what I would think.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, things have changed. Things, unfortunately, things change. I mean, look, it's a business. It's become a business.
That's what it is.
It's now the most popular after-school activity. It's superseded soccer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And moms brag, my kid's a purple belt, my kid's a blue belt, my kid's a red belt, and it means different things to different people. And to me, it's a lifetime journey. If I'm not mistaken, and I just absolutely love the TV show Kung Fu, but I believe one of the old masters said it takes half a lifetime to master. Well, that's what, 35, 40 some odd years.
Yeah.
Not 2 in a black belt.
Well, unfortunately, I remember one of my first masters, Master Ki-Wan Kim. He told me he had to change everything when he came here to America from Korea. He said he was slept in the dojo with his wife and his kid in the locker room. So, and these people would come in, and they say, what do I get after a month? Well, you get flexibility. These things happen. You learn how to carry yourself, and you become more aware of yourself. He goes, well, what do I get after 6 months? What do I get after a year? What do I get after 2 years? And he would talk about all these things you get inside, and then they walk away, and he's like going, well, what do I do?
Now it's like, how long would it take me to get my black belt?
Yeah, that's what he asked. He goes, how long is it going to take me to get that black belt?
Yeah.
And then he said 4 to 6 years. He goes, what if I come in and train every day, twice a day? He goes, and he was honest. He goes, it'll take you 8 years. And he didn't get it. The guy didn't get
wow.
it. Because he goes, well, his cup was overflowing essentially. It was just, that was all he thought about. I mean, people who jump belts, they don't think about the lessons that are learned with each advancement.
Right.
They just go, oh, I just want to jump to the next. I want to skip one and get to the next belt. It just shows you where their head's at, and also it shows you where the instructor's head's at. Unfortunately, but the thing is he's got to pay rent.
That's it.
And that's when does the art become commerce? Then that's that whole hot cold water, oil and vinegar. It doesn't work sometimes.
With color, the belt lost its meaning, because at one time you would start with a white belt and you would wear it until it became black.
Yeah.
There was no purple and green and blue and orange and everything in between.
Yeah.
I've got to say one thing though. I have a pink belt.
Did Jean LaBelle give that to you?
No. Kathy Kwan, every
yeah.
October for breast cancer awareness, they sell
awesome.
a pink belt for $20 and the money goes to the Susan Komen Foundation.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Kathy's great.
Yes,
yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, John. I really appreciate you coming over.
Thanks for having us.
And I hope to see you again, and then maybe by the next time we can talk about your films.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. We'll have something up and running by then.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.